Okay, well, here we are. You're editing your first video project. So one of the things that we're going to look at right now is if you look at your assignment sheet, in the grading criteria, you have this thing under editing post-production, and you have this list. How do you do this stuff? Okay, so that's what we're going to look at today. I'm going to jump over into WeVideo, and let's see what's going on. Now, when I showed this to you the other day, I was using I think for most classes, I use the SeaWorld footage. So I'm just going to jump back into what's already done. Now, I'm making the assumption here that you have already started editing your video. If you haven't started editing your video, all this stuff where I'm going to be moving clips out of the way, you don't have to do that. You just have to start with the intro slate and things like that. So let me get this set up, and then we're going to cut over here to my screen. Okie doke. So let's take a look. You can see that I've already started editing this project. I've kind of got my story together. I started to put in B-roll. So let's just take a look over at the grading criteria. So the first thing on this list, I am looking at the assignment sheet. Okay, says open with black and white. BW stands for black and white, always. Okay, intro slate with the show title, student name, and total runtime. Let me tell you what total runtime is, okay? TRT stands for total runtime. This is something that you need to know. You're going to learn two things today. We're going to learn about total runtime. You're going to learn about time code, okay? Every video has time code. It's 2 digits, colon, 2 digits, colon, 2 digits, colon, 2 digits. And it goes hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Now, when we do time code on a video that we're delivering, it doesn't export at the frame level. It exports at the second level. So we don't add that right there. I'll show you this in a second. Okay? So I'm just going to run down the list. Let's take a look at putting in this intro slate. So I've already started my video. Okay? This is... I'm going to move these two pieces of footage out of the way, and I'm going to put them back. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what's called marquee dragging. I'm just going to click up here, and then I'm going to move my mouse down here, and you see how that little green comes around, and then I'm going to come there, and I've let up, and I've now selected these two clips. I'm just going to move them out of the way for right now. Okay? So I need to put in an intro slate. Now for that, I'm going to come up under my text tool, and I'm going to grab this sample text. I found this there's a lot of different things you're going to see. If you just click on static right here, there's lots of fancy things that we have up here. But I got to tell you, if you just use the basic text tool, you're going to be in good shape. So what I want to do is I want this intro slate. What an intro slate is, it's a piece of video that runs for about 5 seconds at the head of every clip. That's the very beginning of every clip when you deliver a show, that tells you, here is your video, this is what. Normally, this is when you're delivering it to a television station, or they have the ability to start programs at different times. So, we won't be doing this with every video this year, but I want you doing it on the first couple. So this intro slate, okay, I'm going to move my... let me cut back over here. I'm going to go ahead and move this. And if you look up right here, okay, 5 seconds. So my playhead is at 5 seconds. So I'm going to clip it right here. All right. So now I have a 5-second lead in. So I'm just going to put this over the top, and it just says sample text. I'm going to double click. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this my first video, and then I'm going to put my name. A little frustrating using an online tool, because the online video editor quite often has got a little hesitation when you're entering data. And then I'm going to write this, TRT colon space. Now right now, all I'm going to go is 00 colon 00 colon 00, hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, now with this, what I want to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hit Command A or Control A, and that's just going to select all of this. I'm just going to make this text just a little bit smaller. Okay, this isn't a big introduction, this is just information. I'm click Save Changes. All right, so here is my intro slate. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a title piece. So it's going to be an intro piece with titles and an intro with some music under it. So I'm going to, now you can do anything. If you want to go out online, if you want to go out and get a piece of video or a still picture of killer whales or something, you can. I already decided that I'm going to use this piece of footage right here. I'm going to drag this down into my timeline. Now, do you see where that's red? I'm not letting go of this. Okay, if I let go, it's going to overwrite and clip this clip right here. So I don't ever want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And I want this to start right as the whale's nose comes out of the water. Right about there. Okay, that's where I want it to start. I'm going to click my scissors tool. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to keep going. And I want it to run right until, boom, I get that big splash. Scissors tool, cut that again. Let's get rid of that. So I'm going to move this over here. All right, so now I want to bring down, go back to my text tool, and I'm going to put a title on this. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to put this right over the top of this. Now what I want to do is I want it to go right from the beginning right to the end. So I want to make this the same size, about the same size as that. You know what I'm going to do? Well, let me double click on this, and I'm going to title it. Now this doesn't have to be titled the same thing. Okay, this is the title of your show. So I'm going to call this B-E-L, Believe. Yeah, that's how you spell it. A little better. I got a lot of typos there. All right. So okay. And I'm going to go over what I'm doing right here. Notice how if I just highlight the words, it changes the size of just that. So I want to call this Believe. I'm going to hit Command A again and select all of this. I'm going to hit B, make this bold. Okay, and I think that's good. So I'm going to click Save Changes. So the other thing that I have to do is this intro piece has to have some music with it. So I'm going to go back to my media, and I'm going to come down to music, and for time I'm just going to use something really, really simple, this little guitar track, okay, that sounds like this. Okay, what you just saw me do is just listening on my headset to make sure you can hear it. This is going to come down to the audio track. I'm going to bring this here. Way too long for what I want right now. So I'm going to bring it to the end of this right here. I'm going to use my scissors tool, and I'm going to get rid of this. So what I have right here is, if I hit play, here's my first part. Now, if I wanted to get really fancy, did you hear where the guitar went bling at the end? I would have timed that bling to be right when the whale hit the water. That's just something to think about. Okay, so now I have this thing. I want my entire project and video to fade up and down from black. Now, the way we do this is we put in a cross dissolve or a cross fade. So I'm going to come right here. I'm going to come to the very beginning. If you notice, if I come to the very beginning, it starts with this. So I am going to come up here to transitions. The first transition, two common types of transition. One is no transition at all. It's just cuts from one thing to another. The second is a cross dissolve. This right here, WeVideo is calling it crossfade. Typically, when you call it crossfade, it's an audio transition. Cross dissolve is a video transition, but we're not going to get caught up in that right now, okay? I'm just going to take this, I'm going to drag it down here, I'm going to drop it at the very beginning, and it didn't drop. I let go of it, drop. Okay, now you see it's right here. Now if I play this, it faded up from black. I'm also going to come over here at the very end right here, and I'm going to put a crossfade right here. Okay, I want to move that over. So it's going to fade out. Here comes my music. I'm going to use my little tool down here to zoom into this a little more because I really want to fine tune this. I want my audio to start there. I also am going to want to put a crossfade, okay, on my audio so it fades up. Actually, this is the way I do that. I get confused with the different programs I use. This blue line right here is the audio level. If I just click on it, I created two things, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to drag this down, so it's going to like bring up the audio level here. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to drag that to the end of this clip. I'm going to click on this line, create the two dots, and drag that back down, okay? So that's going to bring up and down the audio level. I want to go ahead and make sure. Do you see how important it was that I zoomed in? Okay. All right, so let me stick my little earpiece in right here, and let's get a look at what this looks like. There we go, and okay. So now we're going to go into our show. I'm going to come back. I'm going to zoom this timeline out again. All right, so we're going to go to our first clip. I'm going to bring this back down here, and what I'm going to do is come over here. I'm going to come back to my transitions. I'm going to put a crossfade right here at the end. I want it to go to black just for a second. And I'm going to put a crossfade here at the beginning. So
the idea of Believe was
his comes up at the same time. All right. So now I've gone ahead. I got my intro slate. I got my title piece. Okay, I got my project fading up from black. At the very end, okay, I'm not going to do that yet. All right. So now remember I moved all this. I'm going to come over and I'm going to marquee drag. That selects all these clips. And I'm going to go boom. Put that right there. I'm going to come to the very end. I'm going to put my crossfade. And now at the very end of the show, it's going to do this when it's ready. All right, we're going to let that process in the background, and I'm going to move on to something else because that's taking too long, because it's going to have to be. What it's doing is it's called rendering. That's another term that you're going to want to know. Rendering is just makes the video playable. Okay, so all right, so I've already started to put my B-roll here. Oops, did you see what I did? I made a mistake here. Okay, I forgot and I left that piece of footage up there. So I'm just going to move it out of the way. Going to get all of this. I'm going to move this down here. I'm going to put this back where it belongs. I'm going to come. I'm going to marquee drag again. Boom, boom. I got my fade at the end. So I've already started putting my B-roll up here, okay? Right here where he starts, the more B-roll. Every time it cuts right here, it'd be a really good idea to have B-roll over these cuts, okay? All right, so that's the relevant B-roll. This is the voiceover or video to tell the story part. Smooth transitions. We might want to come and we might want to just have, we might want to fade these. Okay. Now there's all sorts of different transitions that you can use. Transitions are special. They're kind of like a special effect, and I want you to get this. This is really important. Keep special effects special. Do not overuse special effects. It'll be very distracting to your video. Okay? Okay? If you get this today, keep special effects special. All right. So I'm looking at my grading criteria. I've got this is done. I've got fades in between everything. I got pretty clean cuts at the edit point. The next thing I want to do is I just want to listen to the video. Okay? And let's go ahead and play it through this transition and see what this sounds like.
It was composed in the show. It all came from the animal itself.
From the trainer summits and the ideas generated by the Believe team.
Now, you notice that if you really pay attention, this guy right here, his audio is a little louder.
Whale tail behind me. From the
So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to open up my audio. And I'm going to boost this guy's audio just a little bit. Save changes.
From the behaviors that are in the show, and even the music that was composed in the show, it all came from the animal itself.
From the trainer summits and the ideas generated by the Believe team.
Okay, now if I want to get real picky, I'm going to drop that down just a little bit more, okay? All right. So just make sure your audio is consistent. What you don't want is one clip being real loud and the next clip being really quiet, okay? Now, the only thing I got left is credits. I'm going to go back. Now, we've got all sorts of things that we can use. Let me go ahead and just use these end credits. Okay, I'm going to drop that down there.
We do this. It's just fun for us and for the killer whales.
And it didn't take. Okay. Let's see what this is going to look like.
And for the killer whales.
Okay. I'm going to move this over because I didn't like that. I want it to fade to
Just
black.
fun for us and for the killer whales.
Boom. See how that came up real quick? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to take my transition. And I'm going to drive a crossfade at the beginning and the end. Okay. So this is all changeable. Okay? So we don't have, I'm going to go produce by my name. I'm going to change actor 1 to edited by, who would that be? My name. Did I use any music? Music. Now I don't think that music had a, let me save changes here for a second. Let me go back over here, my media. I don't think that had a title Yeah, it just said track 8 guitar. So I'm going to come back over here, double click on this. I'm just going to call this acoustic guitar track. And then if I wanted to edit or add anything else, I can go ahead and do that. Okay? So there's our credits at the end, save changes. Now, if you've decided to bring in some music from the outside or something like that, you can go ahead and give it credit. Okay? You use Hotel California. Put music, Hotel California by the Eagles. Okay? We'll talk about copyright and stuff at another time. All right? So there is a kind of a quick overview. It's going to look a little bit different if you're using iMovie, but there's our basic intro to editing. If you do those things that I just showed you, you're going to get a good grade on this, okay? So feel free to watch the video again, go back, watch it, stop it, edit, go to the next step, watch it, stop it, edit it. That might be a really, really, really good way, good way to do this. Okay, that's it, guys. Hit your project, and I'm really looking forward to what you're going to create. Okay, see you next time.